Once you finish knitting your Westknit shawl, it might look a little lumpy bumpy, so we need to block it. Block it just means we're gonna soak our shawl in water and stretch it out. So block it just means to like smooth out all the wrinkle crinkles. I just finished this shawl called the Woolly Waffle Shawl, and it has this beautiful texture of ribbing and these knit pearls, and it has a chevron point border. So I soaked this shawl already, and I just soaked it in cool water. You don't want to soak your shawl in hot water, okay? Because then the colors might, I don't know, sometimes they change a little in hot water. The colors go in the water. So if you're worried about your colors bleeding or something like that, just take the tip of your shawl and dip it in the water and see what happens, okay? You can put some wool wash in your water as well, but don't do, don't mess with any other soaps or detergents or anything. Just wool wash is okay. I don't do that, okay? I just soak it in cool water for like 2 minutes or so, let it sit, squeeze it in the water, give it a bath, and you want to treat your shawls like babies, okay? Don't boil them, don't wring them and twist them. Nice and gentle, just let them soak. Let them go for a swim, and then squeeze out that excess water, and then you can put your shawl in a towel, and you can roll it in the towel and like squeeze on the towel to help get rid of that excess water. Okay, so this is what it's like after it's been soaked. It's a wet floppy shawl, and you're gonna wanna lay it out on a rug, or if you have blocking mats, that works nicely, a mattress. Sometimes you just have to deal with what you got. So if you just have like a hardwood floor or whatever, it's okay. Maybe put it on some pillows or something, or put some towels on your hardwood floor so it soaks up the water a little bit. So it's here on my rug, and I'm just gonna pull the edges out like this. And sometimes this is all you need to do to block your shawl. Just lay it out flat, give it a little pat, and look at that. So I have all these points on this shawl, and you can see they're kind of rounded. They're not too exaggerated, which is okay. That's one way to block your shawl. Just let it lay flat. Put a fan on it if you're a little impatient, you want it to dry quicker, and keep it out of reach of your kids and your pets, okay? Lock it in a room. Make your partner sleep on the couch so you can block on the bed. Yeah, make your children, they can go have a sleepover while you block on your kids' beds, okay? This Woolly Waffle Shawl has that chevron border, so I want to exaggerate the size and exaggerate the points. So this is what I'm going to do. Go in the top center of your shawl with these blocking T-pins. Place the T-pin away, the head of the pin away from your shawl. Not like this, not like this, not like this, like this. And pin it into your rug or carpet or mattress. And then you're going to do that same thing every so often along the wingspan edge of your shawl. If you want to stretch out that wingspan edge even more, you could stretch it and then pin it. Notice how I'm putting the pin at an angle away, the head of the pin away from the shawl. That's gonna make sure that when the shawl stretches, it doesn't push the pin over. Just like that. Do it every so often. There's no right or wrong way on how to block your shawls or how many pins to use. You really have to eyeball it and just see what works for you. So here we go. I'm pinning, and I'm going to do a final pin. I'm going to stretch out that final point and put a pin there. I just pinned the other wingspan edge of the shawl nice and straight, and now look at it's time for the border, these chevron points. Let's start in the center. I'm going to start in the center with these points, and I'm just going to take a point and a pin, stretch it out, look at that. And I place the pin head away from the border. I'm going to do that a couple more times. Go into the point you want to exaggerate, stretch it out and pin it down. Stretch it out and pin it down. So let's do that a few times along the border of the shawl, and then we're going to see what's happening. If it feels like one edge is getting kind of tight, then maybe you don't want to stretch it out quite so much. Maybe you just do a subtle little stretch. Or if you really want to stretch out that shawl, I think this shawl wants to stretch out a little more. So you might have to pin it down and then readjust them and take them out even further. So give it a try, and I'm going to meet you back and let's see what happens as I pin more points down. I just blocked the whole shawl and pinned it out, and look at this beautiful shape. We've got these scallops forming in the border, and it really transforms your finished shawl and really brings it to life, and it's going to make it much more drapey and more smooth. So as you pin it out, you might notice that some points are a little higher than others. So take the time to adjust and make it just right how you want to see it. And then look at the border. What happened to your border what happened to your wingspan edge when you pinned out your border? I have some little scallops going on my wingspan edge. I don't want that. So maybe take away a pin and then let it stretch a little bit less. Or you might find that you need to add more pins closer together so that you don't get those scallops on your wingspan edge. So feel free to customize that with as many pins as you like to get the right stretch and the right drape going on. But it depends on the shapes of each shawl. What I do for all my Westknit shawls is I locate what are the points, what's the final shape that I want to see, and usually it's those increases that you want to pin at that little vertex, the little vertices of your border. This is the basket weaver shawl, and it doesn't have any points. It's a smooth edge. So how do you block these simple, smooth semicircle shawls? It's the same process where you just soak it in water, and if you want to take a shortcut, you could even just like lay it out and maybe take a spray bottle and like spritz it if you don't want an extreme blocking. Just mist block it and relax it. But I do the same thing with these shapes. I soak them in water, squeeze out the water, lay them flat to dry, and because you're not pinning the shawl out to exaggerate any points, just stretch out that wingspan border, that wingspan edge here, this line. And then once that's stretched out onto your blocking mat or your mattress or rug, just pull on the border like this. And that's enough to stretch and smooth out your fabric. That's honestly what I do for all of these smooth semicircle shawls. I don't use pins. I don't use blocking wires. If you want to look into blocking wires, you can do that method to like weave in the wire to the edge of your shawl to really stretch it out. But in the Westknits world, we're a little bit lazy, okay? We're a little bit lazy. So we just like soak it and coax it out and say, come on, smooth your stitches. That's right. And then once you do that, just let it dry. Don't get too impatient, because if you try to wear your shawl and take photos and show it off to your friends while it's still wet, it's gonna like wrinkle when you put it down or fold it. So make sure it's fully dry before you give it for a test drive. And then after you finish blocking your shawl, it's time to rock it. So just pop it on, wear it, show it to your friends. And I want to see all your photos of your Westknit shawls. And I'll see you in the next video. Block it and rock it.